Welcome to Barstool Bench Mob presented. Wow, that's a tough voice right there. That's a tough voice. Presented by High Noon, Hard Seltzer. I feel like I don't even know what's going on. My heart, I got butterflies on the StreamYard right now. I feel like I'm talking to a girl for the first time. I see your face. I kind of want to fuck you.
Yeah, it fucked up.
Rico's back.
Yeah, give him a round of applause right here, boys.
Thanks.
So, Rico, I want you to start off the show. What do you have to say for your month that you've been gone to the listeners? How you fucked us? Let's see. What do you have to say?
Yeah, I feel bad. Obviously, I said it to you guys. I was a bad teammate, and then you start to see actions have consequences. You guys have Bruce Pearl, fucking Hurley, so it's like, damn, can't let that happen again. You know what I mean?
So what did you when we had Dan Hurley? Did you wanna cry?
No, if you had, yeah, not cry. But I was just pissed. I mean, what is it like? It's my own fault. It's not like you guys booked it when I said I can't be there.
We did try to come up. We did come up with a Rico list of what guests would I guess upset was I think the word we were looking for, right? Like piss you off the most to have on.
You're lucky here. Alabama sucks because we would have had them on like 6 times.
The only thing I would have asked Bruce Pearl, you guys did a great job with the interview. The only thing I would have asked Bruce Pearl was about you ever see the clip when he basically says it's not the ref's fault in the Final Four a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
It went viral. Like, that was pretty cool.
So now you're telling us what questions we didn't ask Bruce Pearl. Got it. Sounds good. Way to come back. Way to do a fucking apology and ask to tell us and fucking it.
I'm saying I wanted to ask the question. No, it was good. I thought he was a little unsportsmanlike after Alabama. I thought that was a little.
Oh my god, what a pussy you are!
Just act professional. I would have said that. Hurley was fucking great. Hurley doesn't give a fuck. He was great.
That's Hurley in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's been. I mean, it's like we talked about it a little bit before the show. Like yesterday, I just think it's wide open. It's gonna be a fucking fun run the rest of the way. It's just wide open.
That if Notre Dame beat Duke, we were gonna reach out to your boy Mike Bryce. That would have been an interesting dilemma.
That would have been white whale. He is the white whale. Maybe I'll start tweeting at him instead of texting him.
Rico, yeah, like one. If they beat Duke, that one you would have got suspended for 2 months. You would have freaked the fuck out. But second, Rico got mad. I told you guys he K'd me like a 10-year-old girl when I said stop calling Bray.
I called him one time. I've called him one time. I called him one time.
I don't even call my friends. You're calling Mike Bray.
Do we care about the show? I'm trying to get guests. I'm back. I'm trying to get fucking guests. We're gonna start the tweet. Maybe we'll get a GoFundMe since we're like a fucking handout podcast. We'll get like a GoFundMe thing, donate it to his charity, and just keep tagging him to fucking come on.
Yeah.
Anyways, I also coach of the year in the ACC. I nailed that shit.
Is it you think it's a lock?
It's not even a lock. Wake Forest, bro.
It's gonna be Steve Forbes.
You think it's gonna be Forbes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Notre Dame was picked pretty low too. They're gonna win the fucking thing.
Wake Forest has been the one tournament in like 2 decades. Forbes is getting ACC Coach of the Year.
20-6.
20-6. Who have they beat?
Who did Notre Dame beat?
Not much.
Kentucky's pretty fucking good.
Yeah, but that's all they have.
That's all they have.
Who's Wake Forest beating?
I don't know, but they didn't lose to BC.
That's an argument.
All right, let's yesterday kind of sucked, honestly, but let's start getting into the show.
And here we go.
All right, before we get into today's episode, I only think it's right for Rico to read the High Noon ad because you love throwing them. So let's have you. Did you drink any on your suspension?
Yeah, they got them here. It's fucking. They got some nice black cherries. They're the best. Everybody, you see people walking around, they go down smooth. 100 calories. Taste great. Feels great. I would advise drinking them, not throwing them. But yeah, I mean, for our friends at High Noon, the best in the business.
I tell you guys every time I go to Green Rock, I get a bucket of High Noon right when I sit down every single time. It's the best drink out there. Real vodka, real juice. I can't wait to see your starting five back, Rico, and behind you when you're home.
I made a little upgrade. The sunglass, just a little hint. The sunglass thing is gone. I put a little basketball thing in there, so it's an even nicer background.
Wow, I'm so excited to see.
You're gonna hate it. Marty's gonna hate it.
But yeah, real vodka, real juice. I want to see everyone set up again. It's getting closer and closer to March. We're less
4
than
weeks
30
till Selection
days.
Sunday.
Crazy.
How many?
4 weeks.
4.
That's crazy. That's fucking
yeah.
scary, to be honest. For a lot of these teams, that's scary. But yeah, go get your High Noon Hard Seltzer. All right, what game are we starting off with?
All right, so yeah, Marty mentioned it earlier. Saturday was kind of a dud, but we've also been spoiled with really good Saturdays between the Big 12 SEC 2 weeks ago, then Duke UNC and Kansas Baylor and Kentucky Bama last week. So there were three ranked versus ranked games on Saturday. We can start with the one that was early. Number 10 Baylor 80, number 20 Texas 63. Jonathan Tchamwa Tchatchoua, pretty tough injury. But they didn't miss a beat. They smoked them wire to wire.
That was a gross injury. His knee bent the wrong way, and they zoomed in on it. Yeah.
He's fucked. That's sad for Baylor. They've been banged up. They can't catch a break, it seems like.
Yeah, because they didn't have a Kinjo for a little bit, and they didn't have Cryer. Now they're out without Jonathan Tchamwa Tchatchoua forever. And it's like, but we're back to Texas. Like, we're back to
Has
like,
it
what
been
the fuck
confirmed?
is Texas?
Has it been confirmed he's out for the season?
He's out indefinitely.
They came out at halftime and said that, which you rarely hear that.
I have like two takes on it. It's like he's a big piece, so it is probably difficult to replace. But if anybody's a next man up team, it's Baylor.
I know the big man spot, sure, but the problem with Baylor is like they have such defined roles where it's like,
yeah, you got to
find someone to do exactly that.
I mean, did we think Baylor was going to be a top 5 team this year after what they lost? You know what I mean? Like they're just
no, but like that's also true what Reek said. Like, yeah, they are kind of next man up, but it's like he was a huge fucking piece. Like that's a tough
without a doubt. That's it. He's tough to
I'll
replace.
be completely honest. Baylor will be fine. I don't give a fuck about. I hope he gets better. It was a terrible injury for them. It sucks. Texas is pissing me the fuck off. I can't stand them. They're like that. They're Virginia last year for you, Rico. Like I put a future on them. I put a future on them to win the championship before Kansas. They beat Kansas, and then they get blown out by Baylor. And I'm sitting there with my dick in my hand, being, "What the fuck do I do?"
There's a lot of these teams that are grouped together of like supposed to have a big season, and now we're in no man's land. Michigan, Texas, Alabama, and Memphis. You could have predicted them to be in your Final Four, and nobody would have blinked preseason. Now it's like Michigan's fighting for the tournament. Texas, we watched lose to Seton Hall, beats Kansas. And these teams are going to be seeded deep. That's why I keep saying it's a wide open year. Like if Texas hits a 5 or a 6 in the second, you know what I mean? Like all these teams are going to be sitting there. I think the second round this year, I'm actually looking forward to more than the first round, if that makes sense.
Yeah, those teams Rico mentioned I tweeted out a poll like 2-3 weeks ago, most disappointing team, and all of those teams were mentioned. And it's like, all right, all those teams still have a heartbeat to make the tournament. So,
and 2 of them are fighting for like a top 4 seed. Like you could tell me Alabama and Texas gets a 4 seed, I wouldn't blink.
That's what I'm saying. You watch what they can do. You see how good their ceiling is, and then you just see them in the depths of how bad they can be, and it's crazy.
Because Texas is going nowhere in the rankings too. Like they beat Kansas.
They just stay at like 11
on the road to Baylor. So like, in hindsight, it's not a bad week for them. They need to split that, but it's like it's just like I wish they played a close game. So I just want to be a close guy. I mean, it's not good when your starting 5 doesn't have anyone in double digits. Marcus Carr, I fucking hate this guy because he should be the one that's stepping up, and he shot the ball 5 times.
they're just so weird. Like we talk about it all the time with them. It's like I still don't think Chris Beard knows what his rotation should be.
No, he doesn't.
Just because he has so many options.
And like I don't think it's not even one where we can be like, yeah, this is an obvious miss. Like, why aren't you playing 3 guards or whatever? It's like, no, I don't fucking know. Like, roll the dice. I don't fucking draw out of the hat and those 5 start. Like, I don't know who should be starting. Like, it's a lot easier. People always yell about like that. Why don't you like figure out who to finish with? It's like, well, that's all game dependent. That's easy to tell. Fucking trying to figure out how to not go down 20 early is the key.
Start Andrew Jones.
They tried that to start the year too, though. Like,
I know, but doing something I don't fucking know.
I know. I mean, I agree. Like,
you just got to start fucking guessing. Have them all come off the bench. Do something because it's starting to piss me off.
Yeah, they're very inconsistent. But, again, they're in that Alabama category where it could be Final Four or first-round exit. And then with Baylor, so assuming JTT and LJ Cryer's been out the last 5-6 games, assuming JTT's out for the season, which they said is significant indefinitely, and then Cryer, if they don't have those 2 guys back for this final stretch, is that it? Like, what's their ceiling? Like, is it still Sweet 16? Can they still make the Final Four?
I think they can still make the second weekend because it'll still probably be like a 2 seed or a 3 seed. So you're, but I don't know if like not having Cryer to get to a Final Four is
tough.
I don't know how they get there.
Yeah, but we say that, but like yesterday they looked so impressive where it's hard to be like they can't do it. Obviously, it's going to be harder, but I mean, even like Flo Thamba looked like he kind of stepped up yesterday too, and like he played great, and he usually doesn't do shit.
Jake, you talk about this home stretch. It's fucking crazy. At Texas Tech, TCU at home, who's pesky. At Oklahoma State, Boynton's never going to quit. Kansas, and then at Texas and Iowa State. The Big 12 is fucking murderous row. It really is.
I joked about it, I think, last episode. Iowa State's like the worst team in the conference. They're still like a 7 seed in the NCAA tournament. I want them to get in with like 4 conference.
Are they still really that high?
Holy smokes, did they fall off? They're 3-9 in the Big 12.
Yeah, but they're still like, I want to say they're, let's say what their most consensus is.
They beat Iowa and Memphis and Xavier. And Texas Tech.
Yeah, but those wins are starting to look good again now.
At what point, though, if you finish, like, what realistically are they going to finish in the Big 12? What's their record in the Big 12 right now?
3-9, and they have 6 games left. So let's say they split 6-12.
If you take the consensus, they're right now a 7 seed.
I don't care. Their wins aren't. What are they? All right. What are their best wins?
Xavier, Memphis, Iowa, then Texas Tech, Texas in conference.
Those are pretty good.
It's good wins.
And Xavier was a neutral win.
I have a fundamental problem of putting somebody in who's 6-12 in their conference, though.
They'd be 16-0 in the ACC.
Oh, not today.
Like, it's not fair to say like this conference should get dinged because it's awesome.
I don't know if they'd be
the 3rd best team in the ACC.
If they split these last 6 games, they'll be 6-12 in the conference, and that's 19-12 overall. They're in the tournament, which is crazy.
19-12 is like
with wins over Texas Tech, Texas, Xavier,
Memphis,
and Iowa. Like
they have
their worst losses are West Virginia, Kansas State.
They have to get to the Big 12 semis though to be like, for me, 1,000% safe.
I don't think the tournament.
If they lose in the first round, they go 19-13. Then I'm like,
They'll get in over that Boise State team probably.
Yeah, like just get to the Big 12 semis.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah,
the Big 12 and the SEC tournaments might be harder than some fucking regionals. I'll be dead serious.
The SEC tournament isn't like as good as you fucking think.
The top 5 are.
It's good, but like if you have to admit the SEC kind of fell off.
Auburn's elite.
Yeah.
Kentucky's elite.
Yes. Like the top, it's very top heavy.
Tennessee's still pesky.
Tennessee's like
up and down. Like
they're not a Mississippi State's pesky because
they're not a cakewalk win. So good. You're right. LSU's dropped a little bit. Bama's obviously dropped a little bit. Like
Arkansas's flattened out.
Yeah, they're still like, yeah, but you're right.
The Big 12 is way better than the SEC, but
yeah, we're just saying like in the past
Yeah.
month, we did say like the SEC is like a close second, and it's not even a close second anymore.
I think they're just a clear second. Like I think it's like 1 gap, 2 gap, and then like 3, 4, 5.
I'd probably give the Big 12 the edge.
Oh, I don't even think it's a question.
I probably give them the edge.
I still think the SEC is a very deep conference. So
I think
I give the Big 12.
Big 10's getting close to the SEC.
I don't know. I think the Big 10's starting to fall off too. Like Michigan State's falling off, Wisconsin's falling off, Indiana's falling off. Now Illinois improved.
Who could have seen Wisconsin falling off?
Yeah. They stink.
Maybe. Like we said last episode, people got pissed at me and Marty where I was like, I know what Wisconsin is. I know who they are. And then they went and lost to Rutgers, like we all said.
Maybe that old wacko in the corner talking to himself knows some things.
Here's this debate we can have. We can cluster these games together. So there were 3 non-ranked versus ranked upsets yesterday. Butler over number 18 Marquette, Rutgers over number 14 Wisconsin, and then Memphis over number 6 Houston. Which upset is most concerning of those 3?
Wisconsin.
Yeah, because I think we know the other 2. I have a take I want to throw out. I threw it to Jake. I want to throw to you two about one of these teams.
Marquette losing doesn't surprise me. Sorry, Reeks, but Marquette's not. I'm still not. Anytime they lose, I'm like, that makes sense. They're overachieving.
My take is on Marquette. I feel like I can predict exactly what Marquette's going to do. I told Jake they're going to win the Big East tournament because there's going to be a huge crowd there. That play the Garden's always crazy during Big East tournament week, right? I think they win the Big East tournament. They're going to be a 6 seed and lose to an 11 seed with ease, just like yesterday, where they just don't they get up for those bigger games, right? And we see them feed off this crowd with the way Shaka coaches. I think they're going to lose. I think they win the Big East tournament and lose. I'm calling that right now. I bet on them to win the Big East tournament, and I'm going to bet on the 11 seed that is going to play them as a 6.
Did I give you? Go ahead, Jake. I want to get Shaka's thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say, they don't play a tournament team the rest of the season. Maybe Creighton. Right. They have Georgetown, Creighton, Butler, DePaul, St. John's. So they could get hot and run the table.
And they should.
Right. Go ahead, Rico.
Well, with me, what I'm thinking, I throw that out of the way. I'm Marquette, whatever. Memphis makes a ton of sense. Houston's been we've been waiting for something to happen with them because their best players are out.
No Sasser, no Mark.
And it makes sense. They haven't had the crazy guy on the team anymore that everyone's talking about. And Monty Bates is they're better without Monty Bates. I don't know what to tell you. They had to give him the ball. He sucked, and he got in his head. He was supposed to be good, and he sucked. And people tend to not be good and bring your team down when it happens. They beat the fuck out of Houston. They've won without him. That just makes sense. Wisconsin, I would be concerned about. At home against Rutgers, you need to win that game if you're going to be into that elite category. And they didn't. And they're exactly who I think they are.
I think
we said that too.
I think the percentages of scoring that I was yelling at Big Cat about, how Johnny Davis was accounting for 30% of their points, I think that's gone down. But by the same token, the other guys aren't as good as they've come down from earth. So I think, like I said, Wisconsin can have a nice season. They're not elite. Memphis, I think you're right. That was 2 alpha dogs. Maybe just having one works. Mincy asked me last night, he's like, you think Memphis could put it together with all that hype? I still don't really buy Penny Hardaway. I think that's a worry.
They don't have a point. They still don't have a point guard.
Right. And getting back to Shaka, aside from his Final Four run, Reegs, what is Shaka's record in the first round of the NCAA tournament?
At most, he won 1.
2-5.
I was going to say, because VCU,
they had
the 5-12 game.
I love Boston.
2-5.
Play.
2-5.
And then what? Was he the coach with Eric Maynard? That was before him. That was probably Capel.
The next year they won with VCU after the Final Four. They got to 32. The next year, 2012, 2013, they got to 32. And then he's actually lost 5 straight. VCU in 14, VCU in 15, Texas in 16, Texas in 18, and Texas in 21, and then he was fired. Yeah. So I love whoever they're playing. I hope it's one of the teams I've been on, like South Alabama, UAB, Belmont. Give me somebody against Marquette.
When you say this shit, though, it's like, what's Eli without his 2 Super Bowls? It's like he went to the Final Four. Like, you can't discredit the Final Four.
No, but I think there is something to take credence, and how much of that is the outlier versus the norm. And again, he was at VCU, so you don't expect him to have like a ridiculous first-round record there.
You're never going to be able to take that Final Four away unless it gets vacated, like some other coaches who Final Fours have been vacated.
You're right, Rick Pitino in Louisville.
Right, and go ahead, finish this is part of the talk it out. You have to admit your problems.
Well, there was nothing at Kentucky except for the 50s.
All right, fair enough. Maybe UMass, maybe.
That wasn't on the coach. That was not on the coach. That was not on the coach.
It's all good.
It was both player oriented. I want that very clear. And he was cleared by the NCAA. He was cleared.
His son's gonna go buy me grails. He's gonna get me a shoe deal. It's all good. We're friends with everybody now. I roll over and take it right in the ass. It doesn't matter.
Rico, you mentioned
but Marty, real quick, you can make a case. Don't ever take away that Final Four, but you could start to make a case he's lost his fastball when 5 of his last first rounds he's been out.
But
like I get what you're saying. Don't take the Final Four away, but he's not that good anymore.
But you could also argue, bro. You could also argue that, like, yeah, I think he failed at Texas, but like he just brought Marquette, a team of Marquette even ranked right now, is crazy to me, and like that's where I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't think he's the best coach. I think he's a little overrated, but he is having like an unbelievable season with fucking Marquette, where I was I didn't think they would even make the tournament.
He's overachieving with Marquette, and I love the Big East, but do we think the Big East is just a bunch of like nice teams? And
they're a bunch of decent teams. Like they have a bunch of They have a bunch of top 6 seeds, right? Like you could tell me Xavier, UConn, Providence, Marquette, Nova. I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anyone. Those 5
maybe like
for sure.
Seton Hall or Creighton.
Well, Creighton, I was saying to be top 6 seeds. I think you could tell me like 5 of the top 30 seeds or 24 seeds will be Big East teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like, is that crazy?
Yeah. I think it's feasting on a little bit of the bottom as well, though. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Big East went and beat the shit out of the Big Ten in that challenge. Like, they're good. As far as like title contenders, I think
they don't have a title contender.
I mean,
I don't think Nova's a title contender. I think they have a couple Final Four contenders, but they don't have a title contender. And
I'm not counting
I want to be very clear. I love Nova. Like I love watching Nova. I said this in the preseason. Them and UCLA were the 2 teams I was like, I'm not buying anything with.
No, but it's weird though.
Jay Wright, I'm on the same page as you.
I know.
And I'm not going to say why for Villanova. Everyone knows.
They're just always there. Villanova's just always there.
Yeah, like I'm not saying that they're going to.
They'll probably make a Sweet 16 and play. Like they'll be a 4 seed probably, and they'll draw a 1 seed and play like similar to Baylor last year. They'll play them to like a 7-point game.
I think Providence has to get to the Sweet 16 just for the build-up. Let Cooley have that week of like the whole world being excited up in Prov. You know what I mean? Like let that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday for him. Hopefully he goes on like big show. You know what I mean? Like he's doing the media tour. Like it's like Cooley, hopefully they get like a good matchup. They're a 3-point dog or something like that, where it's like, hey, Providence might make the fucking Elite 8. Like I am rooting for Cooley in that sense. He's got to get to the Sweet 16.
Tuesday night, Dunkin' Donuts Center is going to be on fire. They're hosting Villanova. It's pretty much the Big East regular season championship.
Oh, what time is that game? Do you have it up? What time that game is?
I will check. It is
the 6:30 buffet is always not
8 o'clock CBS Sports Network.
Okay, that's it. Ooh,
yeah.
I'm surprised that's not.
And then you got Kentucky at Tennessee at 9. Yeah, Rico, I was going to say one thing on Shaka Smart. You mentioned all those first round losses. There were some crazy, like, all-time tournament losses there. The Stephen F. Austin 4-point play in 14. The Paul Jesperson shot in 16. The Abilene Christian shot or lost by 1 point last year. It's been some bad luck in the first round for him.
Figure out a way to win.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's just crazy how many close losses he's had.
Well, I think the quote is, feelings don't matter. In this world, it's only scoreboards. And ours currently reads, fucked, Ari Gold. Figure out a way to win. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, I think there is some truth in that, but it is like that's why it's so hard to like judge strictly on the NCAA tournament because it's like so matchup dependent, and like you lose on a half court shot, and you're like, well, our season's fucked.
Yeah,
it is. It's very fluky.
Right.
That's why I went into podcasting, not coaching. I tried it for a little bit, but
you're a coach for Arkansas a little bit. Anyways, with Wisconsin, I don't think, and this isn't me sticking up for Big Cat, I don't have it in me to call them frauds or not for real because they have road wins at Michigan State, at Purdue. Like, okay, they lost to a hot Rutgers team. Rutgers has beat 3 ranked teams right now.
At home, though.
But still, like, Rutgers is like
Rutgers can't win. Literally, could not win away from home. And like Wisconsin, I think. Well, first off, I'm not buying Michigan State. I think the win at Purdue is going to be the outlier. Like, I think that was them playing over their heads. Like, we just know who Wisconsin is. Like I said last time, they're a top 30 team, top 25 team. Like, they're never a top 15 team. Like, I don't think they can make a Final Four.
Yeah, by the way, this game was in Madison.
Second guy.
This game was in Madison.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
oh, sorry, you said they're all at home earlier.
Rutgers won all their games at home until yesterday.
Up until this point.
Oh, okay.
Like, okay. Rutgers wins were at home, which like they're good wins, but Rutgers literally couldn't win away from whatever the new rack is called, Jersey Mike's or whatever.
Yeah. It should be called the rack.
I know, but so it's like I think that loss is very concerning because you look like Yes, I understand Rutgers is trying to play on the bubble, but like to me, it's just we know who Wisconsin is. They're a top 30 team, top 25.
With Wisconsin, this was a big – all right, so when Johnny Davis doesn't score 25, well, who's going to step up? Wall stepped up, but that was it. They don't have anybody else. Like Brad Davison, you're getting what you know what you're getting.
We know what he is, yep.
And like Johnny Davis scored 11 points yesterday. They just didn't have enough in it to get over the edge when he sucks. So that's just exactly what happened.
I think they can be difficult
until last few games.
I still think they'll be difficult in the tournament in the sense that they won't give away a game to get themselves blown out, if that makes sense. Like they're not going to shoot 40% from the free throw line and have 400 turnovers. They're going to run their stuff. They're going to play within those 4-minute blocks in the tournament. They are experienced. They do have a guy who could go for 40 any night.
Thing, though,
I think they're a difficult – let's put it this way. I think they're a difficult matchup in the tournament, but I don't think they're a difficult out in the tournament, if that makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. You basically said they're hard to play and not hard to play.
All right. Yeah. Well, I guess, I mean.
No, I know what you mean.
It wouldn't surprise me. Like, anytime when they lose, I'm not going to be like, oh, how could they lose? You know what I mean? Like, but I do think their style can be difficult for people.
Like, Johnny Davis could be one of those NCAA tournament stories where it's like, holy shit, no one could stop him. Or he can just be dead in the first round and people will forget about what's going on.
Jimmer losing the Sweet 16 and everyone's just like, yeah, okay, like that's kind of what
like that makes sense.
Kind of makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Brad Davison, I mentioned his shooting. His last 4 games, 3 of 13, 2 of 10, 3 of 10, 3 of 12. And he was really good up until these last 4 games. I think
isn't that kind of Brad Davison? Like last year, he was like
not this season. This season he's been really good.
He's been there long enough that don't we just see this out of Brad Davison where he has these peaks and then he falls back and then he has a little peak. Like he's just a streaky player.
It's also fatigue sets in when you're 46.
Yeah, that too. Got bad hip.
Yeah. All right. So those are the upsets. Marty thinks Wisconsin's do you all think Wisconsin's the most alarming?
Like Houston's is not alarming.
No, I don't think any of those.
Expected.
No, I don't think any of those are. If it makes sense, I don't think any of those are alarming because none of those teams to me are elite. Like, well, I guess
I think Wisconsin's alarming. Like because
people think of Wisconsin's kind of elite. Like that's the thing where I think that's
they had a chance to prove they were. Right.
And Memphis, let me tell you, Memphis can't put it together for an actual run. I don't care what. I don't think they can. They have to still do a lot to make the tournament.
What do we make of Houston, though?
I said it last week to Marty and Jake. I think I forget what comparison I used, but I think they have a hard cap now, who they are with no Sasser, no Mark, I'm not surprised that they lose these games, right? Like at SMU is a whatever. Like at least SMU is a good point guard in Kendrick Davis, but like I don't know. Like I think they're going to be overseeded. They're going to be like a 3 seed, 4 seed,
just because they're going to be like a 26-5 team,
right? And like I definitely see them losing in the first weekend.
Yeah, I mean, they play you're right. They don't have the horses. They play defense. They barely got by Rutgers. They made the Final Four, but they barely got by Rutgers last year. Probably.
Yeah, but that also
won
happens.
that game.
How many times do you hear that? Like,
oh, that no, that happens all the time.
Right.
But, yeah, it's like, so I don't know what to make. You know, they play defense. Sampson's been around forever. He's got poor sportsmanship. His son has poor sportsmanship. But they'll. I don't know. I just don't know what to make of Houston because they keep climbing and climbing. And every week you're seeing like they lost this guy, they lost that. Like, they're like, what the fuck? That conference
I think it's just all catching up to them now.
Conference is fucking trash, though.
Yeah, they need to get out of there fast.
Yeah.
I know they are going to Big 12, but they need to get out of there now.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So two more big games.
Jake,
Marty had one thing. Yeah.
Can I just get my WCC stuff out of the way for a second?
San Francisco, big bounce back. Go ahead.
BYU got to win last night too.
Yeah, they almost lost to fucking LMU too. This is a tweet I saw. It comes up like NCAA men's basketball. St. Mary's just did something no other WCC team has done in the past 2 years. Keep Gonzaga's starting 5 on the floor and at the end of the game. Bulldogs win by 16 points, but actually had a test tonight. Gales now need to beat a test.
Who said that?
Team, some fucking guy. I don't know. It was just an NCAA basketball like thing. I don't know who he is, to be honest.
That's
hoops nut. It's probably Rico's fucking friend. But
that's what we're like judging games on now. Like, hey,
no. This is like, and there's
a playing for newspaper scores.
There's definitely some fucking St. Mary's fans in there, man. Like, good loss. It's like
hang the banner. Kept Gonzaga starting 5 on floor.
St. Mary's is like, Reeks, am I stretching to say St. Mary's is a top 30 program over the last 10 years as far as consistency? Like, doesn't it feel like they always
30, 40?
Yeah, right. Like they were good.
Yeah, because they just have to be the second best team in that conference. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, but like now we're just celebrating newspaper scores.
Do you think
this is Virginia Tech? This is Virginia Tech last year.
I don't think St. Mary's is like such a lock. Like I think they have to beat BYU. Next game.
Let's see.
I don't think St. Mary's is safe. Say they're all.
Yeah, but 3 of their last 4 against the other tournament caliber teams: San Francisco, BYU, and Gonzaga. They still have all at home.
St. Mary's, don't forget, beat Notre Dame in the Maui, and that wins
Notre Dame and Oregon.
That win's getting better and better, and Oregon win at
Utah State.
Rico, Oregon lost to Cal at home yesterday.
Getting better though. It's getting better, Jake.
Oregon was getting better. They got blown out. What are you gonna do? They fucking. They couldn't. They shot like shit. I think look up the stats. They shot like shit.
Cal's a bad.
All
team.
I'm saying is
Cal's bad.
The ACC did what they had to do yesterday. By the way, Miami, Notre Dame, Virginia.
But they're all starting to beat each other now. Like that's the thing. Like we can't lose to Miami.
Jake, 38% from the field, 18% from 3, 65% from the line. If you're arguing, you're gonna lose.
Miami beating Wake is great.
Yes and no though, because like they're like all flirting at like the 10 and 11 seed line. Like
exactly, they'll all be there.
They need to start playing the shitty teams. They can't play each other so much anymore.
Right. All right. So that was the WCC and the ACC. 2 more games here before beating the buzzer and love-hate. Let's go out west. It was the late game. It was
we're taking a long time to get to a certain fucking game. But
yeah, I know because I'm just
happy to be back. We could talk about fucking John Jay and CCNY. It's okay. You talk about whatever you want. It's your show.
You just compared John Jay and CCNY to UCLA, USC. Our friend
I mean, I
said you could. I said you could talk about that, and I'd still be happy.
I'm going by the teams with the little number next to their name first.
Dr. Melfi is telling me glass half full. Like, be happy that you're like. Don't be so frustrated. You're on a podcast with a neurotic maniac and a fucking idiot. be happy that you have a neurotic idiot and a fucking, you know.
You just call me a neurotic
therapy is working.
It's working. It's working.
Yeah, he only insulted 2 out of the 3.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. Okay. Number 21, USC 67. Number 12, UCLA 64. No Isaiah Mobley, a concussion-like symptoms, but still a big win for USC. The path is fully cleared for Arizona. They're going to run. They have a 2.5 game lead now with like 5 games left. They're going to win the conference.
Oh yeah, and I mean,
but I don't think they'll win. I don't think they're a lock to win. No, I don't think they're a lock to win the tournament.
No, but also like conference. We've seen like outside of the auto bid. We've seen conference tournaments not really matter in terms of seeding. Like it really doesn't affect a lot of seeding. When you look at a projection before.
You're probably right.
Before like that Thursday or Friday, and then go look at it. It really just affects the bubble and any stolen bids. Like that's kind of it.
I think it might affect it in the sense that if they win, they can rise a line. I don't think they fall a line.
No,
but I think it's one of those where if it makes sense, you're like a 3.1, and they can move you to a 2.9. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it also depends when you play. Like the Sunday games, we've seen it being completely irrelevant.
I think we should only have one bid league championship games on Sunday. Does that make sense? The Big Ten and I know that Big 12 used to play and the SEC plays. Those games shouldn't be played Sunday. I don't think those teams are getting a fair shake.
I was going to make a joke about, you're right, Rico, but the ACC plays on Sunday, but they don't. So it could have worked. But
they used to play on Sundays.
They did for a while.
Part of a league that's going to have 6 teams in the tournament.
But like you said, Reeks, like let them decide all the stuff that matters Sunday and just give us a bunch of one. We're going to watch anyway. It's not like we're like, oh, I'm not watching the 8. Like, give me the A10. Give me the America East. Give me a bunch of give me whatever you want, but don't give me leagues where
this is
Kentucky's playing.
I would like to watch like to watch good teams on Sunday as well.
All right, that's your.
I don't have a problem with it. I just want the community to be like, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Outside of getting it doesn't matter.
Anyways, with this game, I don't know. USC, this is an impressive win because again, without Mobley, they struggled with Pacific earlier this week. They lost to Arizona.
Why did they play Pacific?
We were thinking maybe like a COVID makeup game, but they struggled with them, and then they had a loss, so like they needed this win. They got it done, and then UCLA, Marty, I know you've been off of them the whole season. They've lost 3 out of 4 now. I don't know. They look like they're going to be capped at like what, a 4 seed at best at this point?
Maybe a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but I'm going to say this. Arizona's good. Pac-12 is kind of shitty.
I mean, yeah,
it's back to like the old
Pac-12 right now,
right? Like we know that they have 3 locks, and they'll probably get a 4th.
3 locks, right? And one is an elite team, and
I mean, one's going to be looking at a 1 seed.
Yeah, like they're an elite team, but UCLA and USC are like USC's not like they haven't really impressed me crazy amount. Like yesterday's an impressive win, but it's also against a team that I also don't think it's impressive. So. But without Mobley too, that helps.
It's impressive getting that. Yeah, to me, it just keeps saying more about UCLA. Where like we were right about UCLA from the preseason. Where I was like screaming. I was like, why is this a top 5 team just because they made a run to the Final Four as an 11th seed? They got it hot.
When do we start putting UCLA's resume under a microscope?
I mean, they have wins over Nova and
Nova. That's where I'm going. Villanova on November 12th. Marquette on December 11th.
I told them a lot.
Arizona in January, and then really, like they have a test with Oregon. They're going to get USC again. They only played Arizona the one time. They split with Arizona. I don't know, like 3 really good wins. 1 before Thanksgiving, 1 before Christmas. And to
Marty's doesn't care about that.
To Marty's, they
should.
Whatever, but to Marty's point, the the Pac-12 is not that good. I think we're all on the same page. Like UCLA is going to be a high seed. I think it's a lot of last year. I really don't think they're. I don't know. I don't.
If they get a good draw, they could maybe. I don't think they could do it again. But like, if they get hot, they get hot. I don't. That's really what it is.
Cronin's a good coach. Like I can't knock that. But I'm starting to dissect this resume, and I don't really see it as impressive. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like it's a fine. Like they avoided horrible losses. And they have a couple decent wins. Like it's just kind of like how college basketball is this year.
Also, it really shows how fucking much of a bandwagon only when they're winning Hep is, huh?
I went to one game at Cincinnati with Hep, and it was a blast.
Were you on the? You were probably on the screen the entire time.
Yeah, it was me, my cousin, Hep, and Mick's brother. And we're sitting all together in the front row.
Last year, I would have loved that fucking scumbag Hep to come on the show next year.
Nah, he don't got time for us. He's going on fucking 60 Minutes and fucking. It's like, they're gonna do a big profile how fucking we should celebrate the guy. He's 200 years old. He's still out there. Like, it's all right. Hep.
We have two white whales on this show: Hep and Frank
Mike Bray.
Oh,
Frank Hayes.
Yeah,
Frank Hayes has plenty of time on his hands.
Yeah,
I would love to do on like we drop it on Memorial Day weekend, the Thursday before Memorial Day weekend, a 2-hour like life story of Frank Hayes. We just troll everybody. No intro, no ad reads. We just straight up go. This is our guest, Frank Hayes. And it's 2 hours
Rico,
of everything. And he keeps being like, hey, guys, I got to go. We're like, no, Frank, one more. Like,
we're only at age 38, Frank. We got to keep this thing rolling.
Asking him about movies. Fucking who cares?
The way he came up this year was we were researching for Larinaga, and I was wanting to see if he like coached Jimmy Graham, and it was Frank Hayes that coached Jimmy Graham.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. All right. One more marquee game before we wrap up the show with our segments. Rico, the floor is yours. Big Cat, when he was filling your seat, he gave you some heat about Alabama. They've been so inconsistent over the last month, including yesterday's 1-point win over Arkansas. Where's your head at with your guys?
But I have a lot of friends. I have friends on both sidelines. I have friends on both sidelines.
You don't have friends on the other side. You don't. I know you don't because it's my team. I talk to them every day.
Wait. No. You can't be an Auburn and Arkansas fan. You got to pick one. You got to pick one.
I'm an Auburn guy. I've been on like that. But, like, you can't. Just because.
Rico's showing his text with Nate Oates right now if you're watching on YouTube.
That's a hog, boys. I'm sorry that we have that's a hog. I have a lot of friends.
Oh my God, you're such a fucking loser, son of a bitch. You can't do. You were talking so much shit about Arkansas.
You texted them congrats on the win after they beat Bama?
No, that's from days ago. This is also to another coach who went and won on the road.
Who are you sending a Road Warriors gift to?
Jared Grasso.
My guys win.
You never text them when they lose.
They don't want to hear from me.
I texted Arkansas yesterday about losing because I am nice. I haven't texted Alabama all year. I'm not going to.
This guy voicemails for Coach Cal all the time. He just doesn't go.
This guy got texted. I don't discriminate. I text all my guys. I got your number. They win.
You put their fucking emoji in there.
Preston is a Cal guy too, so that makes sense.
Yeah,
you're quite literally the worst.
I texted Oregon. All right, listen. I have a lot of we had a lot of guests on here, and I make relationships with people. It's something to be celebrated.
Hope you had that sorry for your loss button text quite a bit to Indiana.
They've kind of been lost in the radar.
Okay,
that was a long time ago. Either way,
I want an honest what you think about this game because I have a lot of takes.
It was a ref show. I'll give you that.
That was one of the worst ref games I've ever watched.
Let's get to the refs last because I want
39 fouls in the game.
The refs were like no joke. I think we all tweeted it, to be honest, because I didn't even see Reek's tweet until after. Like, it ruined the game. Like, it was a good game.
Yeah, I said it was unwatchable, not because of the players.
Yeah,
yeah, it was. I wish we were. I'll be honest. We were out to lunch with Jack. They don't have the SEC network on the TV. It's the only network, hotel
You're
TVs.
in the South. They don't have the SEC network.
If they do, it's hidden. I couldn't find it on like hotel TVs are weird. But either way, I have the app. I'm watching shit on my thing. It's without sound. We're eating like it's a little spotty feed, so like the sound was off. But I'm watching it. It did look like every fucking whistle is back and forth. So fill me in as far as like what were the worst ones of going on.
Let me tell you this before we get to the refs. Arkansas is a better team than Alabama. I think so, in my opinion.
I don't disagree with that.
31%. They shot 31% from the field, and they lost by 1 with a ref show. And
wait, Marty. I need you to clarify one thing for me. Something that we argued about quite a bit. Are you saying a team who lost to another team can still be better than that team?
No. Nope.
So then,
that was a good callback. It's a good callback. But seriously though, what that showed me, JD Notae was nowhere to be. Like he couldn't play. The first half he played 5
I did see that. He went out early, big time.
5 minutes he played in the first half, and he ended up kind of getting a little hot towards the end. But like
took the worst shot ever though, the worst possession.
Horrible shot. But like it was like I'd rather in his hands than anybody else. But like he could.
I agree with that.
But regardless, yeah, I don't know. I like it's not like. I mean, Alabama shot like shit from 3. Arkansas, I really think Arkansas is fucking good. I do. But the refs, man, no joke, was like.
It was so bad.
At the end, it was like, what's going on with these fucking guys?
Just like, and it was like both sides too. Like, I don't think one side got fucked more than the other, even. Like, there were some bad calls on Alabama. I think Arkansas got the worst of the whistle, but it wasn't like, holy shit. It was just bad all around. And like that. The out of bounds call was the worst, I think.
That's what I was going to say. The out of bounds call.
Clearly off of Alabama. They reviewed it for like 5 minutes too, and just
how do you miss Alabama ball reviewing it like that?
Right.
It was like I thought it was going to take 2 minutes. It was like it was so bad.
That was the late one on the sideline,
yes.
Right?
Yeah. That one was bad. A couple of the flagrants were bad. It was just like, what are we doing? Like they called a flagrant on Alabama's player. I forget who it was on Alabama, who kind of caught Jalen Williams in the face, and it's just like,
oh, that was just because he.
Can we just get rolling here?
Yeah, no, that was bad. Like he didn't fucking mean to do that as well.
What I get, you're trying to protect players, but it's also like, can we use some common sense with the fouls?
For Arkansas, I really think that if Likes could figure it out a little bit off the bench, that'll just be tremendous for them because their starting 5, I think, is fine, but he's been kind of shitty this year.
Yeah,
who
it's
Likes?
Chris Likes.
Yeah.
Likes.
Yeah, I mean, he went from being like the guy on Miami to having to kind of be like a side role player for Arkansas. I mean, it takes time to adjust to that, but
they're both very good teams, and I think we've talked about it. Musselman should get a lot of credit because last year in the beginning, it was like a couple of bad losses or like up and down, and then they just start a fucking run, a tear. Yeah. They went on that tear now. They'll take the loss, but like they're trending. I feel like he knows the teams are a marathon, if that makes sense. Like the whole season, he's like, don't burn out early. Like, all right, like stick with it. And the next thing you know, they're in the fucking Elite 8. Like, I'll give them a lot of credit because they looked fucking dead in the water 2 months ago.
Hofstra, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, we were like, fuck, what the fuck's going on? So, like, give him credit. He's an energetic guy. The players obviously like him, and they're building and building. The thing I'll say, Marty, you're right. I mean, with the Alabama, they did shoot like shit like from 3. The one thing I'll say, though, is the good side of this is that they still figured out a way to win. Gary goes for 2. Gurley goes for 9. Ellis goes for 7. Shackelford for 11. And Davidson for 11. And Quinterly for 6. First off, this is a major box score game. Does not make sense that this all adds up. But nobody, like, if Shackelford goes for 35, you're like, well, obviously they relied on like, this was, nobody went off. They just played as a team and figured out a way to win, which is a new thing for Alabama this season. Their wins have been Shackelford goes off, Quinterly goes off, or the both of them go off. You know what I mean? Like, nobody really lit up the game as far as like, oh, well, it was obviously they won. They went for 40. So I will give them credit. They need to improve their defense, and they need to improve their turnovers. That's a non-negotiable.
Their defense is.
I don't care if you're fucking in Tuscaloosa. Nobody can deny that. almost careless with the ball at times. And they got to improve their defense.
Yeah.
And that's really it. But like I said, do you really want to be playing, like, put it this way. If it was Wisconsin and Bama as a 6-3 in the second round, like, who do you think's probably favored?
Probably Wisconsin minus like 1.
You still think Wisconsin would be favored?
I mean, it'd probably open that way.
I'm just saying, either way, like, like it's not the end of the world. To be a 6, be a 5, be a 7, they're gonna find them. It's all gonna depend on matchups. It's wide open. Like the same thing with Michigan. If Michigan gets hot, you can't say, like, I think Michigan's probably got the biggest uphill battle. But the same with Memphis. Like, you want to be playing Memphis as a fucking 10 or a 9 in the second. There's a lot of teams that were good and like predicted to be good and are struggling, but if they find a way to the tournament, they're in the dance. That's all you want is can you survive and get through the dance? I know it's cliche, but there's a lot of these teams sitting around. Texas, Bama, like it's gonna be. I just can't wait. It's gonna be a great tournament. That's really what it comes down to. It's gonna be an awesome tournament, and I think these second round matchups are gonna be awesome.
I'm just glad. Go ahead.
I hate what you've done to my brain and to all of us about Alabama because, like, Jake, we have the same relationship as him. But he acts like it's his, and I want to like Alabama, and I do like them. I love Oates. I love Bryant.
We're all on that boat.
We all were on the boat. All on the boat. We all have the same exact relationship. But I'm just not a crazy person and text him all the time, and I hate that. Like that's my hate. Honestly, I just said that I have to almost root against Alabama just so he can feel bad about it.
Marty, just start inviting them to the bar, even though they can't come. Just be like, hey, I'm going out tonight at Green Rock. You want to join?
How about this, Marty? Maybe we try to find the good in people. Would you say it's maybe the older brother in me that I am out there running with the flag and doing the fucking elephant trunks? I'm shielding you from the abuse when they lose.
No,
you haven't caught one fucking stray. You're right. You were on that boat and you haven't caught one fucking.
Because I'm honest about the fucking team. You will suck their dick when they lost to fucking Georgia. You're like, this team still got it.
Pesky Georgia.
They fucking do.
Here's what I'm saying.
Tom Crean went to a Final Four. He's a good.
Go ahead and defend Tom Crean. Go ahead and defend Tom Crean. Let me listen to this argument.
Rico, what we're saying is on January 29th when they beat Baylor at home, it's not, oh yeah, big win for Nate Oates. It's, oh my God, Rico would be so crazy obnoxious about this win right now if he was on the podcast.
Yeah, I can't even talk about Alabama without having your fucking dick in their mouth.
I said it too, but you know what's crazy is that this I used to call Francesa, and I called I was like, Villanova shoots too many threes, fade him, Mike, fade. It was February. He's like, Rico, a bracket's not even out yet. He's like, what are you talking about?
Rico, me and you are the same age, and I love you sound like my father.
He swayed me on this system. He swayed you on this system because
he brought you on his boat.
No. Effective shot.
The Villanova National Championships didn't sway you. It was having to go on NATO's boat to sway you that this style could work.
To this day, I still say that no one will ever shoot as hot as Villanova did in that 16 tournament.
They won.
Those motherfuckers shot 60% from the field and 50 from three. Should have lost to Kansas. Bill Self, I'm going to see him soon. Hopefully, get him on here. I'm going to say, how did Perry Ellis take 5 shots in the Elite Eight game, you fucking maniac? He's your best player.
What about 2018?
5 shots. 2018.
No, I'm saying, what about 2018?
No, 2016.
2018, they beat Kansas by 100. They shot 1 million threes.
Yeah, that was just, that. But they didn't shoot. No, they didn't shoot lights out as they did in 2016. If it makes sense.
Then they set a record. They set a record for most threes in the Final Four.
I'm not letting you go on this fucking rant about Villanova winning when they fucking won.
Whatever.
Yeah. A championship's a championship. All right.
It's going to be a great tournament.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get
Alabama they still might have the best wins in the country. That's not.
They also have one of the worst losses in the country.
Yeah.
No joke.
I own a loss again, by the way, so I'm ready to say that's a bad loss.
Yeah, it's a bad loss.
Friday night they lost.
If you put Alabama's resume and Rutgers resume together, it's one of the funniest things in the world. Like, people forget Rutgers lost to UMass and like Lafayette.
All right. Yeah. I have a firsthand account from someone who was at the Rutgers game and was within an earshot of this. That Izzo grabbed someone. I don't know if it was a coach or a player, but he basically said to him, "What the fuck is wrong with you guys?" After they beat Michigan State, because that they lost to Lafayette. Like, didn't they lose to NJIT?
They beat NJIT by 14. Okay. They had 3 losses in a row at the Ball, home to Lafayette, at Massachusetts.
So like Izzo said it like with a laugh, like he's like, "Hey, you guys are really good, but you fucking like, what's the fuck's wrong with you? You beat us, but you go lose to fucking Lafayette." Like, Rutgers, I think you have to seriously consider Rutgers on the bubble. I heard your thing, Riggs. Like, give them the Big Ten to be so much fun. But like, at what point? Rutgers is just a fucking giant killer.
Yeah, they're one or 2 wins away from really being on the bubble.
I can't wait to be there. They'll beat Wisconsin again. That'll be fucking great.
You think they're not on the bubble right now?
They're on the bubble. I think they're like next on Monday. Today, when you're listening, I'll probably have them in the next 4 out category.
Okay. I was gonna say I thought they'd be like a step below that, maybe.
I think that win, like, I know we don't like Wisconsin, but like in like their like the committee's eyes and shit, like that's a great win on the road, and I think that 3 wins right there puts them first 4 out.
Well, here's the thing. I'm looking at their schedule. They're going to take some losses, which is going to be a problem. They have Illinois, at Purdue, at Michigan, home to Wisconsin, at Indiana, home to Penn State. They're favored in one of those games, the last one.
Yeah, for sure. But it also gives them that chance to to act like they control their own destiny for sure in that fucking thing.
So 6 games left. They probably have to go 4-2 to be in, 3-3 stay on the bubble.
Yeah, at least 500.
But I mean,
if they go 2-4,
that's what I'm saying. Do it more realistically. I think 2-4 is more realistically, and then you're sitting at 17-13, and that's not bubble, even with their wins.
But they're 11-9
they got to get hot here and they got to go get one from Illinois or Purdue.
But
on the road.
What if there's
Michigan doesn't? If they beat Michigan, it's not even really like a resume elevator. It's like
it is because it's on the road. It'll probably be that could be a quad 1 win.
Say they go 2-4 and they beat Purdue.
Michigan's quad 1.
On the road. It might be.
Say they go 2-4 and beat Purdue and Illinois. Like, that's like
obviously that's
Purdue.
Dream.
But then you get swept by Penn State. Like, that's like the flip side.
Where it's like their up and downs are crazy.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, it's a fascinating resume to watch, similar to Alabama. So we'll keep an eye on it. And yes, our live show Saturday, February 26th at Rutgers, and as well as next Tuesday at Iowa for Michigan State at Iowa. All right, let's wrap up the show with beating the buzzer and love hate. But before we do that, we want to remind you that this podcast, the Barstool Bench Mob, is brought to you by Truebill. Do you know why free trials renew without your consent? It's a business scam out to get you. Don't let greedy corporations pocket your money. Download Truebill to take control of your subscriptions. Truebill is the new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you don't need, want, or simply forgot about. On average, people save up to $720 a year with Truebill. Because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel, Truebill makes it incredibly simple. Just link your accounts and Truebill will cancel your unwanted subscriptions in one tap. And your Truebill concierge is there when you need them to cancel unwanted subscriptions so you don't have to. Rico, you've had some time on your hands, probably some subscriptions you realized, oh, I didn't know I'm still paying for that, right?
Reader's Digest I got rid of. We had to pull the purse strings back too. You're not fucking, the money's not coming in. Reader's Digest, $5.99, gone. Try to maybe control my wife, only get fucking 7 Amazon packages instead of 46. Fucking Paramount Plus, get that out. So yeah, you gotta consolidate your money. Truebill helps it out.
Yeah, so Truebill has over 2 million users and helped them save over $100 million. Like Matthew B, who says, in a matter of seconds, I saved $660 for the year on my DirecTV bill. Saved $120 for the year on my SiriusXM bill. Saved $840 a year on car insurance. Don't fall for subscription scams. Start canceling today at Truebill.com/bench. Go right now, Truebill.com/bench. It could save you thousands a year. Truebill.com/bench. All right, so it is time to wrap up the show. Love, hate, beating the buzzer. Rico, you're back. Why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I love being back. Marty, it's good Marty walked away because I guess I love you, Jake. I love Riggs. I don't have to tell Marty I love him. I love the opportunity for this tournament. Fans being back, like true regionals. We don't have the bubble bullshit. We don't have Tuesday afternoon games. Although I will say I think they were onto something with the Sweet 16 being standalone. I think there's a way to figure that out. But
yeah,
like
you just
start at 4 o'clock, have a 4 o'clock and a 6 o'clock. I think there's a way to do that. But hate, I think I've probably said it in the past. I hate when Saturdays are a letdown.
Yeah. Especially this Saturday. Like, there's nothing going on, right? Everyone's just anticipating the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So it's like you had all eyes on the sport. There wasn't anything to take away from it. And it was just like,
a dud.
Can we not get something?
Right. I hate when Saturdays are a letdown. But that's kind of few and far between. Yeah, conference tournaments I think are going to be great this year.
They're going to be awesome.
There's a bunch of under-the-radar leagues that are like the Mountain West. There's a great game today, Boise, Colorado State. I think the Mountain West is going to be a fun one. The MAC is going to be a fun
MAC's one. Wide open.
The
CAA is always like just wild. There's always some crazy upset.
Horizon's always great. The other one I have my eyes on is the Ohio Valley with Morehead State, Belmont, Murray State. Those are the ones. Oh, and
is Jacksonville State in that one too? Or is that Jacksonville in that one? It's just Jacksonville.
And then obviously the Big Sky is always good to fucking just keep an eye on.
Yeah. All right, that was nice. Deep.
So I love that.
All right, so I love Bill Raftery. Like, I was listening to games yesterday. Bill Raftery, if you know me, I blogged about him, I put it on. He's my number one anything. Like, who would you want to have in your golf course? Who do you want to go to dinner with? Who do you want to go to a bar with? It's always Bill Raftery, number one. Listening to games, like, the dude just loves college basketball, and you can tell when guys are calling games, like, who really loves the sport and who's just kind of, like, still doing it to do it. I listened to, like, Gus Johnson yesterday, made me so happy to, like, hear him, like, college basketball Saturday, starting it off. Raftery calling games today. Like, there's something about those voices that just warm my heart, especially this time of year.
That's fair. Yeah, when he says there's minimum at the beginning of the game,
you kind of know it's like a bigger game. You can kind of feel it. And, like, now that we're getting, 4 weeks away from Selection Sunday, I can already hear, like, him, Nance, and Hill on the call together. And it just being like, all right, hit the music. It's time to sit here for 12 hours.
Yeah, that's fair.
And
what about your hate?
I hate leg injuries.
Just like watching them on replay?
Because Kentucky can't go one goddamn game without getting someone hurt with some freak leg injury. Last night it was Ty Washington, waiting to hear he had x-rays. They were apparently negative. Toppin missed yesterday's game because of an ankle injury. Can we get better, like, ankle tape, braces, something? I'm sick of watching Kentucky games and somebody get hurt.
Listen, injury luck is a big, big factor. Villanova was a championship contender last year, and they lost Gillespie. Like,
that's what sucks. Like, this time of the year, like, get those injuries out in November when nothing matters.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. It's a big factor. Marty, I know you hate the poop you just took.
Yep. Tough. That was tough. I'm pretty much a hero for being up at 9 a.m. and my stomach is on the fritz. But I have a lot.
They got a bidet. They got a bidet here that's heated.
You use it?
It's unbelievable.
You have to. Yeah.
But you got to be careful. You turn that heat up too much, you catch a little fucking burns.
Scorch some hair off.
I had first time I did it, I was like, oh, and then I tested it. Now I got it.
If you don't go, oh, every time a bidet,
you're doing bidets wrong.
You're doing it wrong because it's like, oh, whoa, I didn't see that coming, even though you knew it was coming.
It's not natural, but yeah, I mean,
my friend installed one at his house. I'm thinking about getting one over here now.
I got an I still haven't set it up, but I have an attachment for one.
I hooked one up and it was the wrong attachment. Shout out Hello Tushy, but I can't figure out. I want to fucking hook it up. It wouldn't like my fucking toilet's from like 1946.
I have all hates, no loves today. My hatest one is I hate Rico for doing that to me about Alabama and just hate you in general.
I just said I love everyone when I came back. That's
yeah,
cool.
he's really opened up his heart, but yeah.
It's all right. I've learned a few, trigger. That's a trigger. If you identify, all right. So we were saying at dinner last night.
And all of a sudden,
just let me. Barstool Sportsbook hasn't released the line yet, but next year for fall for Pick'em, take the over 750 times that we say trigger during the college football season. Just getting it out there. Westy already said the line's minus 120. But I equated it to this: like when you're walking down the steps or when you walk outside and it's icy in front of your house, you have to identify. It's like a bear trap. Like if you identify, hey, the steps are slippery, then you're more likely to not fall. So if I identify the triggers, I'm more likely to not like threaten to hit Marty in the head like I used to do.
Wow.
So that's a trigger. You saying you hate me is a trigger. We've moved past it. And you're a big trigger guy.
I'm a trigger guy.
Hey, tell me how to do my relationships.
Yeah, because you call the guy. It's like calling a girl that doesn't want to fuck you.
I call a lot of people.
Yeah. All right. Well, I also hate all of you because you have no morals. You don't bring up anything about Clemson trying to kill Wendell Moore. I mean, if Duke does this, Grayson, everyone's compared to Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen tripped a guy. He
tried to murder multiple people, but
didn't. But regardless, that was no joke. That was the most disgusting play I've ever seen.
I said it in the blog. You know it's bad when I couldn't even spin it against Duke.
You can't.
Like I tried so many different ways to be like, hey, no, he walked. Like he walked. It wouldn't happen if the refs called a walk. And it's like, oh no, that dude fucking almost crashed his neck.
Bro,
I would say that's soft of you, Riggs.
I try, but it's the integrity of the game. I have the integrity of the game.
Just go full troll cat and just
figure out a way. There's nothing to though. Like I also
do you have any idea? Do you have any idea how much fun you would have had if you said, "I cannot believe the outrage of this play. That was a travel."
Yes, I thought
everyone just keep doubling down. Travel.
Except I was convinced Wendell Moore was hurt. And the last thing I want. Imagine the headlines. Wendell Moore, like, out for the season. First thing under. Barstool Sports makes fun of neck injury.
But
seriously, if this happened to Duke, it would have been an all-time headline story. I completely agree with you, Marty.
1,000%. And, like, in all seriousness, though, like, that – he had, like, from half court, it was just, like, just let him dunk it, Yeah. And to get one game is fucked up. That's crazy. So you're telling me you could just lay someone out on a fast break? Like the one thing that's like the one rule in basketball. You just don't fucking undercut someone when they're from behind. And like he could have seriously like got injured like for life. Like no.
That's why I couldn't spin it, is because it was that bad. Like it is the one rule. Like I hate unwritten rules, but there is like one basketball unwritten rule, and it's like you said, somebody's in the air, you don't hit them waist down. It's like anything like you can hit him above, like, right?
There was no like he did that on purpose.
A
lot of people like, he was going full speed. He couldn't shut the fuck up. Like you just
I think he tried to hold back at the last second, but he was already committed.
He didn't jump and try and block it. He just went like this under him.
More than likely,
shout out Wendell what happened. Dunking it still too.
More than likely, you land on your back or your ass, which hurts like shit, or you do. Luckily spin enough to land on your wrist, but that's how Ewing got fucking hurt, Riggs. I'm reading that book. Like it's a lose-lose either way. It's like
what a fucking spin zone to Rico to tell us he's reading the book.
Well, I also as a friend, trigger. As a friend, Riggs likes the Knicks. He has a reading level higher than yours. 90s Knicks. I just want to let him like
you're trying to say.
If he was thinking about buying the book, or Father's Day is coming up for him, I know
it's like 4 months away.
Oh no, Riggs, don't worry. He's talking about his sister's birthday. It's in November. He's asking me about DJs. It's in November.
Trigger.
Gotta get ahead of the line.
If Riggs was thinking about purchasing the book, he now has a first-hand account that it's pretty good. As a friend, that's all.
Trigger's gonna be. That's gonna be a lot in this podcast too.
He's just gonna hold up.
I
a
like
sign
it though.
like
He's
Brazilian
catching himself.
Red and greens.
It's good.
But in all seriousness, do you got like one game is like kind of crazy?
I thought he'd get 2 or 3. I thought felt right, but I also wonder if like the ACC talked to Duke and they're like, no, like we believe he was serious in his like apology, and they were just like, yeah, one game's fine. Like I do wonder if there's talk with Duke about it.
I have one thing I'm a little upset about. Like, I need one guy from Duke going after him.
Someone's got to fight him.
Like, I think they were actually like kind of worried about Wendell Moore, so like that was their first reaction, like make sure he's okay. But I need one guy.
You got to have the goon. You got to have the old John Chaney goon. Like you can't be one of the stars.
The one guy was
Jeremy Roach. It needed to be Jeremy Roach.
The one guy was Coach K. He was going after him.
Well, Coach K will fight anyone who thinks he looks at him the wrong way because he's a lunatic who should be in.
Right.
You know what? I think Rico needs to reach out to Coach K and have a little conversation. That's where Coach K belongs.
K smoothed it out afterwards, though, right?
He went up to Coach K and like apologized.
And then he like accepted it. I actually disagree with your goon take. You're gonna call me soft, but like you remember the famous video when a couple years ago when the kid looked in the corner and buried that kid, the white kid in the corner with the elbow. All right, I know that team, and I actually like that. That shit like that turns into a fucking full blown. I actually think, having learned what I've learned in the last 30 days too, like things can get ugly if 2 people are losing their heads. I was the guy who lost his head first. 2 people lose their heads, it turns into a big ruckus.
There needs to be a hard foul. You need to have at least a hard foul. I'm not saying punch a guy in the face. There needs to be a hard foul.
I can't
Fair.
wrap my head around that you just compared this to your situation where it's like that's not losing your head. That's just going after your – they're not crazy. They are just going to help their friend that just got whacked. They're not a fucking nut job that's yelling at someone for no reason.
Trigger.
Nah,
that's
fair. That's fair. That's fair. It's borderline, but we went to the review. That's fair.
That's fair.
I'm just saying, like, we don't want the malice in the palace. Listen, malice in the palace.
This Rico, I love this Rico, by the way. You try to be like all what's it called? Philosophical and shit.
Yeah, I'm like high without I'm like Bill Walton, like without the massive amounts of drugs. I'm just trying to get deeper meaning of things.
Yeah, this is a different Rico. All right, I'll wrap up quickly. My love is with Wagner's loss to Merrimack. Vermont is now tied for the longest winning streak in the country with Gonzaga.
Shout out John Becker.
Yeah, Gonzaga, South Dakota State, and Murray State, all 14 wins in a row. And my hate is that Syracuse's Jesse Edwards is now out for the season. The Orange was rolling with him. They're kind of getting back onto the bubble, and they lost to Virginia Tech. Jesse Edwards, probably the most improved player in the ACC.
I was going to give out Syracuse to win the ACC tournament. It felt like they were – okay.
I hate the Syracuse team.
I guess I'm back. It's all right. I'll distribute the bowl. I can't have opinions.
I'm
just saying it was leaning as a sleeper. It was an ACC sleeper of Syracuse being like, oh, of course they won the ACC. You know what I mean?
What's funny is like, isn't Jesse Edwards the same guy who Jim Boeheim threw under the bus a week ago?
Oh yeah, he's been awful, but he's been much better this season.
Right? No, I agree. It's just this is Syracuse, like, and not an injury. It's just.
It's a tough injury.
This is their final blow. This is their final blow. Yeah.
Right. I think they could have made a run because the ACC, you can pick up wins, but now they're probably screwed, which sucks. But yeah, that's my love fate. All right, let's wrap up beating the buzzer.
Wait, last one. If it's Bryant at Wagner for the NEC championship game, I'm definitely going, Jake. You want to come?
I'll be there with you.
More than one.
I'll be there with you, 100%.
Riggs is more likely to book a flight. There is no fucking way Marty's coming, but we'll be there. We'll get media credential and we'll be at the NEC championship. It's going to be, I think it'll be a really good game. So
media credential. I'm pretty sure we can just walk into that.
I would try not to diminish my hometown's love of basketball. I would say that the Wagner people will show out. But yeah, you're probably right. You could probably walk in.
Yeah, that's fair. But no, that would be awesome for Rico's Staten Island pride for
Big
Fitzy
time.
Wagner. Have they made it before, Rico?
Wagner?
No, haven't they? Well, I'm sure they made it at some point, but with Bashir, they keep losing. Yeah,
a bunch of times, but yeah, with Bashir, they haven't made it. They lost a couple of years. They've made it a bunch of times in their history.
Like a 3-year stretch where they
2003. 2003, they lost to Pittsburgh by 14 points.
Yeah, I remember that.
So probably 116.
They were a 15 seed. 15 seed.
They're saying Wagner in Lenardi's is as high as a 13. Now, with
I have him as a 13 as well.
What's the highest the NEC has ever been seeded?
Probably a 13 or 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're always in that first four, it seems like, right?
Whatever.
Yeah, it was always LIU Brooklyn playing in it.
Yeah.
The first person who replies with the highest historical NEC gets 2 backstage passes to Chase Rice via Marty.
Love it. All right, let's wrap up beating the buzzer. Not much here. A lot of chalk. So let's start off. 3, 2, 1. Ohio State beats Michigan by a score of 68-57. We didn't bring up Michigan's win on Thursday against Purdue. They had a chance to really get back on the bubble if they beat Ohio State at home here, but they couldn't do it.
They were minus 3.5.
Michigan?
Yeah, that game. I was like, they're gonna fucking kill them. But yeah, I've been rooting for them to get back. They just don't have it, man.
Purdue seems like an outlier. That seems like an outlier though, where like, hey, we caught this team at home in the right time
and played like unstoppable.
Yeah.
Do we think they have to win the Big Ten at this point?
Unless they win out. Like unless they win out. Like,
yep.
Because what's their record right now? They're what, 15
and 10.
13 and 10.
But every team they play the rest of the season, maybe not Rutgers yet, is a tournament team. So any win they get is good for the resume. They can't have a bad loss anymore.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
So right now they're projected to finish 10 and 10 in the Big Ten. If they go 12 and 8 instead,
then I think that's a real conversation.
Right. So yeah, that was Ohio State. Providence, a scare against DePaul. This was a peak look ahead game because they had that Villanova game. They beat DePaul by 3 in overtime. Providence is 9-0 in games decided by 5 points or less.
It's ridiculous.
They started doing the lucky
just
thing
embrace
too.
it. Just embrace it.
Did you see I think someone posted like a clover in the student section or something?
I saw it in the background of the video of them coming out to Taylor Swift, I think it was.
Yeah, so that's going to be unbelievable on Tuesday night. Michigan State 76, Indiana 61. Indiana, I can't figure out either. They should be fine for the tournament, but this is 3 losses in a row. I know we had the talk about the suspension against Northwestern, but now is it a panic meter?
Like that loss, like I know what they were doing for Northwestern, but that might come back and bite them in the ass.
Right. Like, I guess, like, they're hoping the committee just says, like, oh, well, they had everybody suspended, kind of throw it out. But still, like, what have they done win-wise? They beat Purdue at home. Like, that's what they're banking on. They didn't do anything in the non-conference.
No.
Their best win was St. John's.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Kansas, Oklahoma gave him a good fight. Rico, your boy Tanner Groves, unfortunately, they're done.
He's fucking unbelievable. But, yeah, they're done. I just want it on the record that, like I've said it a bunch of times, if I could bet on people, I'd be undefeated. I saw that kid on fucking Pluto TV in 2020, and I was like, I fucking love that kid. And then he's got a brother. Those dudes can play. He could play for me any day.
If you watch the tour, everyone knew him.
Marty.
He scored 30 points.
I knew about him in conference play.
Oh, my God. You literally
you did talk about him a lot, yes.
You only talked about him after he scored 30 in the fucking tournament.
I'll find the tweets. I think you only listened after he scored 30 points. I definitely talked about him beforehand.
Did you guys watch the game? Like, Jordan Goldwire, he was, like, kind of good. Like, he was fucking – I fucking hate that guy.
You know who could probably help? He could probably help Duke.
He hit that 3 from, like, so far away. He could not shoot a 3 to save his fucking life last year. I hate him.
No,
Is
Oklahoma would have had
in-
life. They would have had life
know.
if they won this game, but they lost.
I don't
so
think
many
they're in,
games
right?
again.
Like, they have too many losses at this point.
Yeah,
They're
14
and 11
losses.
When
Yeah,
is
14
Oklahoma
and 11.
in? When is Oklahoma in the SEC? Next season or two
seasons, I think.
Okay, because that's another like jolt of Porter Moser, good coach, SEC. Like a lot of coaches in that fucking league.
Yep.
Yeah, no, they're going to be fine in the long run. He's a great coach, but yeah, they started 12-3 and 11-2, but they've won 2 games since then, so they're probably in big trouble. Moving on here, Reegs and Marty, if you want to have a quick word, both of your guys, Kentucky and Duke blowout wins.
Oh, should we go, Rico? We were coming up with a new segment idea called No Shticks, where Marty and I have to talk about the other team without using any shtick.
Yeah,
Listen, fucking Kentucky can play, man.
Yeah, I am worried about the injuries. Like that's a legit concern going forward, especially Ty. Like he is so important to what Kentucky does. But like I keep saying it, at some point people are gonna have to start giving Calipari credit for what he's doing with this team, where he heard all the feedback from last year, he went out, he changed everything that he's done before.
We have to give credit to Calipari for coaching 5-star recruits.
He's not playing his 5-star recruits.
We have to give.
They're on the bench. Bryce Hopkins and Damian Collins are on the bench.
There's no credit. They don't get credit anymore.
I'm saying if they finish.
I thought this was no shtick time.
I think you have to give Calipari credit for what he did after last year to this year. He prioritized shooting and guards.
He stopped having hostage meetings.
Give credit to Coach K right now. I'll give credit to Coach Cal.
But I think K's underachieving with his roster right now.
I do too.
See?
And I think late in games he is a concern.
Because you're not a Duke fan, you piece of shit. You're triggering me. Trigger. Because you're not a Duke fan. Asshole. Trigger, asshole.
Calipari hasn't lost multiple games at home this year.
I need to hang up.
Anyways,
Marty about
Duke gets 4 first-round picks.
I'm gonna take another.
Marty, Duke over BC. They got the win.
They needed that. They needed that win. Just like the comfortable blow them out, get out of there.
Thank God. Yeah. I was a little dicey at some
they cut like 7, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it was just like because that's just such a game they don't give a shit about, and Boston College is gonna play their hearts out. It's like
weird things always happen up there too.
Yeah,
it's like
just get out
Kentucky
of there.
goes to South Carolina.
And Tatum was there with Deuce. Deuce is fucking so cool, bro. Did you guys see a video of Deuce? Like when Tatum Tatum went into the crowd and he just kind of stepped up out of courtside.
Little 4-year-old getting ready to like fight for his dad.
Yeah, but I mean that game is nothing to me. I mean they needed to win the game. They won it. Got the fuck out of there. It's just really like Trevor Keel's coming off the bench, even though he plays 29 minutes, like still plays like a starter. But it's like they have the talent. We know what the fuck they have to do.
Yeah,
for sure. And then 2 more here. Rhode Island upsets Davidson. Davidson's still in first place by a game. The A-10s, I don't know. How many teams are they going to get in?
A-10 sucks. They're getting one.
Is it a one-bid league? It's a
Unless you could convince me it could be a 2-bid league if
Davidson loses.
If it's like Dayton and Davidson, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. That league, St. Bonaventure, Jesus. I know
St. Bonaventure has been a failure.
Marty, here's a quick one. What's Duke's record in the last 3 years in games decided by less than 5 points?
Under 500?
You want to take a guess?
Well, I know this year. I know this year they've lost all 4.
They're probably like, what'd you say, last 3 years?
Yeah.
They're probably like 2-7.
No, they beat Gonzaga. That counts for this year. And Clemson.
That's crazy.
I just assume they don't play that many games within 5.
5-11.
So they're 2-4.
I wasn't that far off. I said 2-7.
Yes.
Percentage-wise, I was on the same path.
Yeah.
Just saying.
That's good.
No, not ideal. And then
I worry about him late. I also worry about his decisions. Like,
just let me know when you admit you're not a Duke fan.
I was a Duke fan before you were in diapers.
You're just obviously not.
I just know I'm real. Like, you have to have journalistic credibility. You can't just say teams are good blindly based on your rooting interests. You have to have journalistic credibility.
This is credibility. This fucking team is so good.
See what's good, boys, is I've also learned how to trigger other people.
Yeah, we're gonna have it. We're gonna have.
I'm a two. I'm a fucking.
There's 100% gonna be a trigger off.
I'm Jaden Ivey. I'm a two-way guard, bro. I can play offense and defense.
When we're in person, it's gonna be 10 times worse. I know it.
I know. Fucking listen. Throw a can. Get rid of you for a month. It'll make me life a little easier.
Yeah. Lastly, a little Ivy League note. Did you see what was happening in the Princeton-Dartmouth game? They were beating them by like 50 at one point. It was 74-27.
I didn't even know the Ivy League started again.
It was like UNC Florida State, like just two absolute losses.
Yeah, Florida State has not won a game since.
I give credit to Florida State, only losing that by 20. I thought they were going to lose by 50.
They're playing two grad assistants as getting starting minutes. Like, I want to see Florida State versus Uwe Pui because they each have a 6-man rotation now.
Yo, they're bad, huh?
They're the worst team in the country.
Uwe Pui's bad.
Open tryouts. We discussed it last week.
Oh my God, I saw that too. It's crazy.
But yeah, Florida State, they beat Duke, they beat Miami, and then they lost their best player, and they quite literally have not won a game since.
That's going to come down to the bad loss. That's going to look like a bad loss for Duke. Like we
talked about that
being a 1 seed. That's going to look like a bad loss.
They got to go there on Saturday the 19th.
Yeah.
Florida State puts it together.
They don't put it together.
I don't think they're going to put it together.
But yeah,
that's our show. Monday's pretty weak. Tuesday, Kentucky, Tennessee, and then Villanova, Providence. Villanova beats Seton Hall. Wisconsin, Indiana as well. Wednesday, Baylor, Texas Tech. Seton Hall, UConn.
Every night.
It's every night the rest of the way. We totally forgot UConn Xavier. UConn, we've got to be worrying about them a little bit, right? They lost 3 or 4.
A lot of road games, though, right? Like one home loss in there to Marquette?
They lost to Creighton at home.
Creighton.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not overly concerned. Like, this game was a game Xavier had to win at home. Like,
that's what we talk about. We love Hurley, and I love UConn's makeup. I just think there's still a little bit of a hurdle there for them to, you know what I mean? Like, last year he made the tournament. This year he's a higher seed. I feel like next year is the run, if that makes sense. You know,
that's fair. But yeah, Baylor, Texas Tech Wednesday is going to be awesome. Kentucky, Tennessee, Villanova, Providence should be a good week. But yeah, that's our show. Rico is back. We got less than 4 weeks to go. It's very exciting stuff.
Rico, for the record, I don't want to be a trigger for you, but I just looked up your past tweets. The only tweet you have about Tanner Gross is the day he scored 30 in the tournament. There's nothing before that.
There's absolutely no.
But I'm very
happy with that. Counted as a win for Missouri.
Now that is a producer right there. That's all I got.
And I don't want to be a trigger for you, but you were just talking about journalistic integrity.
You just have to do your job, you know?
Yeah.
Journalistic integrity.
That's the perfect way to end it. We'll see everybody on Thursday. Thanks for listening. And remember,
no fucking way.
To register for the tournament, we're coming up with prize ideas. Rico had a very nice conversation with David.
I had a nice dinner last night with some boosters. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that, and we'll see everyone on Thursday.